after what Fat Joe and Jadakiss said on their first episode of their podcast, I don't know if they're going to make it to the second episode. So Fat Joe and Jadakiss got a new podcast. It's actually called Joe and Jada. Just that simple. Now, me, I'm going to be realistic. Being an East Coaster, Fat Joe talk too goddamn much. I like Fat Joe as a rapper, but he talks too much. So I didn't know how this was going to work. Jadakiss, though, I'm definitely a fan of Jada. I wish Jada would have did this 5-6 years ago. But they got together and, their conversation is about, the culture, and they brought up certain things. The thing that they started off with, which I thought was interesting, is they brought up their view on the whole Kendrick and Drake situation.
1 year since the Kendrick and Drake discrepancy, what they like to call it beef in the media world, since we in media.
We in media now.
But thank God nothing happened to anybody physically. Yeah. But how you feel about? Personally, I thought it was about 4 or 5 months ago. I can't believe it's already been a year.
Yeah, this shit is out of control, man. How's a year? But what I can tell you is, boy, that Kendrick Lamar gets some spins in LA radio. Nah.
Everybody from LA gets spins on LA.
You never seen. When's the last time you went and put on the radio in LA? I was there last week.
I was there like last week too.
Bro, I never seen nothing like this. Like every single song, they like turn the TV off. The other one, this, that,
get a lot of
the scissor, the Luther, the this. Like what?
Now hearing a view on the Kendrick and Drake situation was cool. I ain't gonna lie, it feel like they act like the West Coast is just so far. It's not that far. They need to get out more. I'm on the West Coast, so I feel like coming from the East to the West, I know that transition part. But the main thing that they did say that would get people feeling a little irate is how they felt that Kendrick might be the biggest artist ever on the West Coast, probably bigger than Snoop and Tupac. Now, before I play this clip, I want to know from y'all, do y'all think that Kendrick has reached that level that he has surpassed Tupac and Snoop? Let me know in the comments.
Kendrick Lamar gets played 9 out of every 10 songs in LA right now. Not even Snoop Dogg, not even Tupac Shakur, not nobody from LA has dominated the paint. Like this guy, this last year, what they doing in LA, if you from LA, you think there's only one guy on earth, Kendrick Lamar. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. You turn on that radio in LA, if you from LA, you work at Target, okay, Amazon, you delivering some shit, you working at the bakery, Panaderia, whatever, East LA homes, you thinking there's one man breathing in hip hop. It's called Kendrick Lamar. I'm keeping it a buck with you.
No, he had a hell of a year.
Now, this whole debate is real because when you think of the West Coast, do y'all consider Tupac a part of West Coast lineage? I mean, the main artists on the West Coast, to me, you're going to think of Kendrick Lamar, obviously. You're going to think of, the whole Ice Cube and all that whole era and stuff. But is Tupac considered? Because if that's the case, Tupac sold 75 million records. As of right now, Dre is number one. He's about 6 million records more than Kendrick in sales, as far as who's the biggest on the West Coast right now. So I thought that conversation was interesting that they said, because as things are going in motion, you forget like who these other people are, and I don't think we should ever forget. Now, something else that he did break down is beef and hip hop, and we all know Jada done been through it. Jada done beef with 50 and really went at him the right way. But they broke down their view on beef and how they think it's cool as long as it stay on wax.
What do you think about beef and hip hop? Like I done answered this a million times.
It's getting out of hand. When it gets, for me, I thought it was always good if you take it all the way back from Wild Style and LL and Kumo D and then all the way up to Us and 50, to whatever you want. It's always good as long as it stays on wax. Now as the technology evolved, it turned into movie skits, animations, retrieving fake information and going to the embassy, and it's turning political now. Supposed to be
No, it is.
beats and rhymes, mics,
It's
DJs.
There's even lawsuits behind rap diss records now. I never saw that.
That's over my head. I don't really understand when it gets, you know.
Maybe I don't know.
I just want to see.
Let's just say.
I just want to see rhymes and songs and hip hop shit. Once it gets,
Once
it goes to the White House and all that, Supreme Court and things like that, and you know what I mean, and
to the Congress Library.
Yeah. See, the best thing about hearing a view on an opinion is when people actually been in there. One thing I gotta mention is Fat Joe ain't never really had no rap beef like that. He had beef with, he did. They both had beef with the same person, but Fat Joe never dealt with 50 how Jada did. Now, it took a turn and it got real comical because then they started talking about the whole Met Gala situation. Now, you already know the Met Gala came up, all the craziest outfits and everything, and I haven't really seen nobody talk about it, so I was definitely anticipating on what Joe and Jada had to say about that.
Met Gala, do you see anything to do with that?
I've been seeing a couple. I see my man 3 Stacks with the piano on his back.
The piano.
That was crazy.
I
want to know what.
I don't know. It's like
was anything in it? Was the transmission in that piano, or was it like an empty box? It couldn't have been that heavy because he went up the stairs. He walked around.
Ross came in with like 1,000 feathers. Like my thing is like, it just looked like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like all them outfits look like the girls are sucking in, they eating an olive for like a month. No shit is out of control. No,
olive for
you know where you at? You know how strong? You kidding me?
My man though, Snowfall came in with a motorcycle suit and they ripped it off and he had the helmet.
Nah, it's crazy.
Then he had a suit under the suit. I'm cool with the Met Gala. I don't want to be layered. I don't want to have like a suit with another suit with a quilt. Just give me one nice suit.
Yo, you're fat. Like he looked like he was a fat boy. He's not. But I mean,
the suit made him look big.
The suit was made like that.
Oh,
the suit was made like
no fashion.
Big
crazy.
Pun Fat Joe Grammys, like big
word.
Shit. Yeah,
nah, it wasn't like that.
I'm trying to tell you what's going on out there.
Yeah, nah, he's not.
Yo, this shit out of control.
Yeah.
They can have that shit right there. I don't know about, I don't expect Jada to come up in there like Zorro or some shit like that, right? Like,
another serious thing that they spoke about was, the bias at the Grammys and how, even 50 Cent with like the biggest song in the world, he would lose to like artists that are not even in the same genre. I always felt like that. If you're going to judge music, judge it on the same scale. If you're going to judge rappers, judge rappers. If you're going to judge R&B singers, judge R&B singers, rock and rock. So when you put all of that in one, it kind of like overshadows what each of these categories could be. And I think that's what it was back then. And I think like, even going to the Grammys back then was kind of like, amazing. So hearing their view on that time where like, they wasn't giving hip hop the biggest, platform that they do now.
That beef with 50 Cent. I watched him come into the Grammys. He sold 30 million records. You remember that first 50 Cent album? He was nominated. That nigga might have lost the tic-tac-toe. He got up and looked around and walked right back out that Grammy. Like the Grammy, they've been better these years, right? But they had it all the way up. Like they was giving, Mork and Mindy the Grammy over Biggie and shit like this. And you sitting there like, yo, this shit is nuts. He walked up in there, his seat wasn't even warm. He sat there for like 2 seconds. And the winner is Herbal and Peaches over here.
Yo.
And the man got up and walked out. And that's when I knew, we all fucked in the Grammys. Got nominated, I want to say 6 times. One, I lost to the Black Eyed Peas for Lean Back, and they didn't even have Fergie with them. They didn't even have the white girl yet. So they was really not even popping at the time, right?
They was just the Black Eyes.
Yeah, the Black Eyes. Yeah.
So overall, what do y'all feel about the whole podcast? What is y'all view on, what went down on their first podcast. I like the vibe there. I think that I'm a fan of Fat Joe and Jada. I think Fat Joe do talk too much. I think Jada is really going to end up being like the entertainment and being the comical aspect of it. You know what I mean? But Fat Joe was cool. Let me know what y'all feel about that in the comments. And I also got other videos on the channel. They might be on the screen or they might refer you to go check them out. So check them out. Leave a comment on there. Make sure y'all press like and subscribe and hit the top bell. I'll see you on the next one.